Hey everybody, Dog8798 here, back for the second part of my favorite action, anime, and cartoon list. This is part 2, and the first cartoon I want to talk about is X-Men Evolution and the entire X-Men franchise. I love the X-Men franchise. I loved what X-Men Evolution, the show you see right here, I love what they did with the characters. They took the story, the characters, and the character designs in a whole new direction and gave a anime like storyline to it. I love the 90s series which started it all for the Marvel animated series of the 90s, and the stuff you still see today with its death of the character, with its controversy, death, and colorful depictions of the characters, and its adaptations of storylines like Days of the Future Past. I also love what Wolverine and the X-Men did. I also love what the X-Men, the X-Men anime from 2011 that aired on G4. I love what they did. And then I love the Pride of X-Men, which is the single episode pilot that came from the funding of the 13th episode of the RoboCop animated series, with animation done by Toei. I loved how they incorporated characters like Wolverine, Cyclops, Colossus, and underrated X-Men, and I love how they had character designs similar to the X-Men lineups of the 70s and 80s. Next show I want to talk about is Ben 10. Ben 10. Once again, like I said, in my opinion, Cartoon Network started to go downhill in 2004. It was still good up until late 2008, but it started going downhill in 2004, in my opinion. And one of the most awesome shows, in my opinion, this show is still carrying Cartoon Network today, and that was Ben 10. I love Ben 10. Ben 10, in my opinion, was that cool new action DC Marvel anime He-Man type cartoon that needed to be that Cartoon Network needed after He-Man and several of those other shows I just mentioned were canceled. I love Ben 10. Characters are awesome. I love the plot. It's like a mix between the DC animated universe and anime. I'll talk more about Ben 10 in a future video. Next show is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Once again, in my opinion, Nickelodeon started going downhill in 2004 because shows like Hey Arnold ended. Doug was nowhere to be found. Other shows like Kenan and Kel weren't there anymore, and shows like Rugrats, All Grown Up, were starting to get stale. And shows like My Life as a Teenage Robot and Drake and Josh and Nets Declassified were pretty good, but it was Avatar: The Last Airbender, this epic show. I'm surprised Nickelodeon has something this epic. Avatar: The Last Airbender made Nickelodeon awesome from 2005 to 2008. After Avatar: Last Airbender ended with that season finale, Sosin's Comet, Nickelodeon became a whole new level of crap after this show, after Avatar: The Last Airbender ended. Love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I love the characters, the complex characters, the chemistry between the characters, awesome acting. It's funny as hell, and man, words just cannot describe how awesome Avatar: The Last Airbender is. Next show is Bleach. I love Bleach. Riding on the heels of the success of Naruto came other shows like Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, and Bleach is still carrying Adult Swim Cartoon Network today. It's still going strong today, but yeah, I love Bleach. Next show, oh yes, huge fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the first Teenage Mutant Turtles 80s animated series for its humor, action content, and really good storytelling and colorful characters. I love the 80s series. I love the 2003 series for taking it a much more mature direction, going closer to the comics, and for their awesome, colorful characters. And I love the creative stuff you did for the last 3 seasons, which sort of went away from the comics and started doing other things like Fast Forward, which I also thought was pretty good. Next franchise, of course, or show is Fist of the North Star. I always watch Fist of the North Star here. I got into it in 2003 with the movie, and I've been a huge fan of Fist of the North Star ever since. I love action, post-apocalyptic stuff, and this show is just entertaining. This show is really dramatic and emotional. The death scenes are tear jerkers. Fight scenes are epic and mean something. And Fist of the North Star was the birth. Fist of the North Star introduced a lot of the popular shonen anime elements that will be copied and duplicated by other animes. Next show is Inuyasha. Been a huge fan of Inuyasha since 2003. The only thing I hate about Inuyasha is that nothing happens for the whole series, but Inuyasha from beginning to end is a really entertaining series. Pretty good plot, awesome characters like Koga, Inuyasha, Moroku, Sango, Kagome, even Shippo, and even bad guys like Naraku and the Band of Seven. Show is epic. Next show, Ultimate Muscle. Huge professional wrestling fan. I love Ultimate Muscle. It combines two of my favorite things. Pretty much the superhero, Japanese superhero, what's his name, and Japanese superhero mythology and professional wrestling. The show has awesome, colorful characters. It's really dramatic and epic, and the show is just hilarious. Characters like King Muscle, Kid Muscle, Dick Van Dyke, Wally Tuscan, even the bad guys are hilarious. And you have some awesome, hilarious bad guys like the Toilinator, Ascara, Hanzo, Robin Mask, and all those guys when they were bad guys. It's just such an awesome series, and I was a huge, and I watch it daily now, and I watched it religiously back in 2003 and 04 when it was on the Fox box. Last show on this list, and really doesn't deserve to be on this list, and that is no, this is not the last show. I got another show after this, but the next show on this list is Dragon Ball Z. Okay, Dragon Ball Z, even though in my opinion it's outclassed by several of the cartoons and animes I just listed, including the animes I just listed on this list. Dragon Ball Z, despite my frustrations with the show, despite all my problems with the show, it is still a entertaining show. It's just an entertaining show, mostly because of nostalgia. And I love characters like Raditz, Nappa, Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, and all these characters, even though they sometimes piss me off and the show becomes very, very frustrating to watch. It is still one of my favorite shows, which is why I give so many rants on it. Shows like One Piece and Fairy Tail, which also piss me off, aren't my favorite shows, so they don't get much rant time from me. So, and finally, number 10 is Cowboy Bebop. I love Cowboy Bebop. Been a huge fan of it since 2001, with the first anime on Adult Swim, and it's been canceled and put back on the air so many times because this show is that awesome. The show is well written, and Cowboy Bebop goes to show you that you don't have to be a long shonen anime to have a really good plot. If you miss one episode of Cowboy Bebop, you will be lost. The show is epic, well written for being a short series. The only thing I hate is that something as awesome as Cowboy Bebop had to come from something so lame and not that good, and that's Lupin the Third. But yeah, I love Cowboy Bebop. I love Spike, Jack, Ed is okay too. The only character who occasionally gets on my nerves is Valentine. She's cool, but her pushy and snobbish attitude occasionally pisses me off. But okay, yeah, this was part 2 of my favorite cartoons and anime list. All right, Doug out.